views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Phantom Science, the podcast, where we discuss how to prove it's not just all in your head. Does the paranormal exist? If it does, how does it work? And how do we gather solid indications and data? During this podcast, we will be discussing things that many people may hold near and dear to themselves. If you feel offended at any point, just take a deep breath and think about the thing that offended you. Because we will be playing the role of the recently declawed Office of Devil's Advocate. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and thank you very much for listening.
And welcome to another episode of Phantom Science. And tonight, it's not Phantom, but it is Paranormal. We're going to tackle just an oversight and an opinion, because we have lots of those, on UFOs. So,
Doody.
Doody. What do you think, Nico?
I think UFOs exist. I mean, I think there's definitely unidentified flying objects that we don't know about. What do you think?
Well, I think on the probability scale, there are much higher probability than ghosts. At least provable, if you see what I mean.
Definitely. I mean, science even admits that there are elements that we don't know yet. And I mean, there's something odd billion planets.
More than that.
I mean, that's just the beginning inside of our...
do my Carl Sagan. Billions and billions. But so it was I think mainstream science pretty much says the chances of life on another planet are pretty damn high.
Yeah.
Because, we didn't know how many Earth-like planets, the Goldilocks, where life could exist, planets were out there. We thought it was a rare instance, and now with the Kepler telescope, we're finding thousands of the bloody things.
Yep.
So
I mean, it's all in the search for elements that we can actually live, that can actually provide life for us, and there's tons of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Earths and super Earths and not so super Earths.
I mean, they even admit, scientists are open to the fact that they're worried that there may be some things that we don't know about that they may be missing in the search for extraterrestrial life. There could be things going on that they don't even know about yet.
Well, of course there are.
That's
they're not worried about it.
But my point was, it's it's openly admitted that there are things that we could be missing. So there could be something out there that we haven't even found yet. We don't even know how to find it. We don't even know where to look.
Yeah, could be missing. No, we are missing. Like shit tons.
Yeah.
Like the more we learn, the more we know we don't know. Yeah, so, sure. I mean, that's basically where it is. So, really, I guess it's not in dispute of are there aliens out there? I guess the question is, do they visit us? Because the technologies involved are massive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people who thinks that there's definitely something that we don't know or we're not allowed to know yet. I mean, I know that sounds a little bit conspiracy theorist.
Not a little bit.
Oh, come on. I mean...
No, that's full-blown. It's a conspiracy statement.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
There has to be.
I think they know things.
So? Come on. There has to be things that we don't know yet.
There's lots of things I don't know yet.
I think that the population... It has to be.
You're saying that the government is controlling information.
Yeah, but to a point. Like, I think it has to be released slowly for us to handle.
So that is full-blown conspiracy theory,
okay,
really.
Whatever.
Little bit conspiracy.
Bit.
You don't dip your toe into it.
Yeah, you're right. I just didn't want to admit that. Yeah.
Yep. So, welcome to the show, Nico.
It's true. Well, what do you think? Do you think that we know everything? Do you think our government tells us everything?
Oh, no, here's my problem with that theory is, now I believe it's fully possible, and I believe that, yes, our government would, or any government would, keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Where I have problems is the ability of a government to keep fucking anything quiet. Everything gets leaked, eventually.
Eventually.
And something that big. Now, there are a lot of people out there that claim to have worked on UFOs and all that stuff, and I'm not going to go into details because that would take way too much research that I didn't do.
Well,
for this thing.
Some of the research I did do.
Did you get it from the government?
Yes. or from the dark web. You know, the government can't control us there. No.
Us? Oh, us now.
Us, yeah.
Okay.
I'll put myself in that pool.
Nico belongs to Anonymous now, too. Not so anonymous.
I'm not going that far. That was him. His name's John Black. I'll give you his address right now.
But can't be true, because that wouldn't be anonymous then.
Or John Palpatine. No, so there are, I mean, there's a lot of research facilities that are documented, and there's directors of those facilities, and there's millions of dollars spent on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence in our planet, in our solar system. But one of the big ones that stands out is a guy named Seth Shostak, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He went out and he actually publicly admitted, he was the director of one of these programs, and he publicly admitted that he highly believes that there is life outside of our solar system, and that it has visited us, and about, I don't know, maybe 2 days after he admitted that, he actually, his whole program was shut down, the funding for it was quit, and it was completely hushed. And that's something, there are some out there that, you know, they come out and they claim to have, what's the word I'm looking for? They claim to have, you know, worked on UFOs and things like that, but to actually be shut down and disappear and your funding cut and it just go hush-hush like that, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a point. The counterpoint to that would be he knew it was getting shut down and funded, and that was his last Yahoo.
Well, I mean, from what I found anyway, I don't know if he knew it was being shut down.
Well, if he was a director, I think he pretty much freaking knew.
But you know, apparently there was over like $22 million dedicated to this program.
That's not that much money.
That's not, you know, yeah, that's what I was going with. That's not a lot. So I mean, why would they put that much time into it? Apparently, it was a program that it lasted about 11 years. Why would they put that much time and that little effort into it? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing with government programs and stuff is, I mean, my God, they pour money into all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like, what are you doing? You know?
I mean, why? I mean,
usually it's a subsidy for a company. I'll be honest with you. It's like the skunk works. I mean, the government spends so much, I mean, and then, you know, the thing is, the government pays huge amounts of money to research and develop, I don't know, let's take, for example, the stealth aircraft. They pour that money in because they want one. So they've paid for the research and the development, and then they develop one, and then they sell it back to the government at exorbitant amounts of money because the technology's so sophisticated. When it was the government that fucking developed the technology.
That's ridiculous.
I know. So, you know, I mean, the government throws money at a lot of stuff that it wants to see become a reality because companies, to get a company to fund research and development that's kind of iffy, that's a big risk and a lot of them won't take it. So if the government wants to see an end product that's this shape and form, they're going to say, look, we'll give you the money to research it, you know, and off it goes. And you've got to show, I guess you've got to show some kind of results.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened in that.
If you want to stay funded, yeah.
And maybe that's what happened with that program. And then that guy, and I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't know either way.
You have a point. I mean, maybe that is what happened.
You know,
but I mean, why does it seem like whenever someone starts to touch on something or provide some type of evidence, it's like they get shut down or quieted or it goes away. I don't know. And two, you see these,
or it gets debunked.
Yeah, that too. That's a big one. But I mean, you see these documentaries of like what you brought up. These people who come out and say that they did work on UFOs or they did have, it always seems to be later on when they've got nothing to lose or they're about to die. And they admit that they were hushed up for so many years. Now, that many people, are they just trying
I know of at least 2 people that admitted on their deathbed that they were D.B. Cooper.
That's true.
Yeah. Because you're dead. If you get debunked, oh well, ain't going to hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm skeptical of most things just because I know human nature. But
I know what you want too. I mean, like you've said in the past, you want it. Nothing's ever just landed straight in your front lawn. Here it is.
No, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't stop looking. I mean, ghosts or UFOs, Bigfoot.
It's the same thing with ghosts.
Keep looking.
Just keep looking.
That's fine. But the thing that is different between the field of ghosts and the field of UFOs is or should be much more grounded in science, and there are active scientific programs. SETI is just off the top of my head.
Yeah, SETI.
Looking for extraterrestrial intelligence and signals. And I think it's kind of disappointing that, all the years they've been doing it, they haven't found any. Now, that being said, I mean, space is massive, huge. So,
yeah. I mean, we don't even know if we even have the capability to reach as
That's
far
correct.
as it could be.
I mean, we're looking for, runes and cuneiform writing is what we're looking for when they're using CDs. So, I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day for whatever reason I can't remember. My brain just goes off track. But I was sitting there looking at, we look at like the old CDs as, oh my God, they're so archaic now. Oh, that was it, because I had to install a program and the computer didn't have a CD player anymore because they don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, your software's on CD or whatever. But if you took a CD and just picked it up and dropped it on an alien planet that were as intelligent as us, let's say, at least, and gave them a CD, how would they know that there's information on there even?
Yeah.
I mean, they'd look at it and go, oh, it's jewelry. It's a pretty thing.
Yeah.
Sparkly.
Shiny. A mirror, maybe.
Yeah,
If that was even their name for it.
You know what I mean, though? I mean, how would you even know that there's information on there unless somebody told you there's information on
True.
it? So, I mean, there's a lot of that, I think, involved if we are we could be getting stuff all the time, just wouldn't know. And ghosts is the same. Until you know what they are, you don't know what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And
two, one of the biggest theories is that, if they visit us, then they're probably some type of higher intelligence. But what if, not what if, there probably is something out there. Who says it has to be intelligent life?
Could be artificial intelligence.
But it doesn't have to be. It could be, just like our planet started. It could be.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get here, though.
Some other kind of life. They wouldn't even get here. We don't even have the technology to reach them yet. They might be.
No, but then we're talking about UFOs, so they've got to get here.
Yeah, so. But that's my point is,
there's lots of life.
If they have UFOs and they reach all the way here, okay, then maybe they do have some type of higher intelligence. But,
well, they definitely do.
But what level is that? I mean, could they have stumbled on that? Things do happen on accident, too. You know what I mean?
I guess, but that's a pretty huge freaking accident.
It's a jump, yeah.
Some Neanderthal shows up with a stone spear, going, "Oh, I found this. Just push that red thing in there, and here I am." The interesting thing to me is, if there are, and I think major top thinkers, Stephen Hawking was one of them, said that if there are higher intelligent species, aliens and stuff, we'd better be hiding from them, not saying here we are and throwing everything out there, because the way mammals work is that our brains consume so much calories that we can't exist eating grass or anything. We have to eat superfoods. So what we do is we wait for the sheep and the cows to eat all the grass, and get all the calories and nutrients in them, then we eat them. So higher intelligence usually equals predator.
Yep.
So if you think of all the higher intelligent, forms of life out there, or even on this planet, I mean, dolphins eat fish, that kind of thing. So, that's one thing that kind of unsettles me is, we all imagine that they're all going to be nice and everything like that. But, I mean, even we can't go fucking 3 years without having a war.
It's true. It's in our nature. Sorry.
So, and I mean, there's that nice idea of that they've got more civilized and grown out of all that and found solutions for everything. That's fine. I'd like to buy into that.
I don't know about that.
But they might just be, Columbus and when he landed in South America,
yeah.
I bet the Indians are looking at, aren't they all clever? Look at all that stuff
cool.
they got. They must have evolved out of...
That looks nice.
Why is he stabbing me with a pike? What a bastard.
Ow, I come in peace.
What am I going to do with a flint knife?
And yeah, I was like... No, I completely agree with you that, if they were traveling that far, what would they be coming here for, honestly, if you really think about it? Yeah, exactly. They'd be coming here for resources. We'd probably end up slaves.
Or just wiped out.
Yeah. Think about it. You do it. We'll sit
because
up here and watch.
If you think about that, if they're that far, they're going to have AI. I mean, we've got them now. We've got factories full of robots doing things that do things better than humans. So why would they downgrade to humans?
That's true.
That's stupid.
Or, I guess it depends on their sense of humor. We took over your puny planet.
Jump for me, monkey. Jump.
Go.
Jump for me, monkey.
Or I will zap you.
Do a Michael Jackson for me.
That's horrible.
So, if they are... We saw one at Buxton, or we think we did.
Yeah.
Remember when we were out at Buxton?
Yep, I remember that.
That was like massive high up.
I've seen stuff like that so many times in my life. Just all of a sudden flies up, disappears, or flies off.
The one in Buxton, though, I see stuff like that, and my brain always goes, it's, I don't know, something, but it's something, I never think UFO. But the one in Buxton, initially we thought it was a satellite, because it was moving, it was really high, and it was moving pretty fast, so we thought, satellite orbiting. Yep. And then it changed directions. Yeah. And then it came back again. So I'm like, all right, that's a pretty fucking weird orbit for a satellite.
Crazy, right?
And
see, I've seen ones like that before. I've gone out to the Ely Observatory and just laid out there, because you can lay out there at night, so you can just stargaze. I've literally been laying out there, and I've watched a star that I've been looking at for over 20 minutes just take off. Literally, I'd just be sitting there looking, just thinking, like you do, and then, boom, it just takes off. And all of a sudden, it just goes higher and higher and higher, and then it stops, and it goes to the right, and then turns around and flies, just like the one at Buxton. I can think of at least 4 or 5 other times in my life that I've seen that.
Probably been staring at it on the bridge. Someone's going, fuck, he's seen us.
Yeah.
Quick, go, evade.
Go, scatter, serpentine.
So, I guess the question, like I say, the question is not if there's life. A, is there intelligent life? And B, does it come here? And because even the idea of having intelligent life, you've got to have the times overlap as well. So billions and billions of planets, they got to be somewhat in range, depending on whatever the technology is. They also have to be alive right now. So, I can imagine lots of civilizations just destroying themselves or their planet or whatever.
It's just Han and Chewie messing with people. Warp speed. All right, sit in the sky until we get an audience.
But there's a lot of variables there, and I can see we've got stealth fighters, and so that they can evade. Usually, that's not too much of a leap of faith,
And it wouldn't be too far to go out there, like you said, on the leap of faith, that there may be some things that we don't know about yet, you know, some things that our government may be testing. I'm not necessarily saying aliens or spacecrafts, but there could be, you know, aircrafts out there that can do these things, and we just don't know about them yet. Is that too far of a possibility?
No, I'm sure. I'm sure quite a few UFO sightings are some kind of prototype. You know, the people were like, ooh, you know. I mean, look at the B-2 bomber. I mean, that was getting flown around. People must have seen it and gone, what the fuck is that?
Whoa.
That doesn't, yeah. They get the little plane book out and go, that's not in the book. It's not a plane.
That's true.
So.
And, you know, there was something that I read up on that said that it was, hang on, let me check out my notes here.
Nico's got notes.
I've got notes.
Oh, wonders will
you
never
had
end.
notes? No, actually there was a study done that, literally over half the time, it's like 94% of UFO sightings can be debunked. I mean, it's something else. It's a drone. It's a reflection of light. It's a balloon really, really far away, and then it pops, and people think, you know, oh, it was there, and then it disappeared, when really it's just a balloon reflecting light in the dark. Yeah.
It's the old one.
You know.
It's Venus.
You know, that
swamp
happens.
gas. Yeah, I know.
You know. I mean, that's true. But then there's another, like, 6% that there are people out there who actually investigate the origin of these videos, of these sightings, and they can't debunk them.
No.
So there is a percentage out there of, you know, really what is that and why. Just like ghosts.
And, yeah, and that is, I was just about to get to that because, once again, it comes back to my analogy. My problem with those kind of things are, all right, but it hasn't landed on, you know, so we get things we can't explain. That's not too crazy. So you go from 100% down to 6%. There's 6% you can't explain. Okay, so we have a video we can't explain.
Yep.
Why does that jump straight to UFO alien?
Exactly.
It just means, you know, same as an EMF meter going off for no reason.
Yep.
Why does that go straight to ghost? I mean, you know, it's our minds filling in the blanks in a way we want it to. So,
because it doesn't mean that it's not ghosts at all. It just means it's unexplained.
yes,
and there needs to be more research. And that's what science is really. They are researching this. They're trying to find, you know, something, possibilities.
A lot more than they are ghosts.
Yeah.
We're the poor stepchildren of the paranormal.
But
yeah, do what you want. We don't care. You'll never amount to anything anyway.
well, I mean, when you think about it, you know, if going back to what you asked is, you know, do you believe in UFOs? I mean, at least there's a chance. There's a percentage of it could be.
Yes, and there are actually scientific reasons why it could be, which is why they have the edge on us, and that's why they have scientific funding. There's a couple of things that I wonder about. I mean, so the amount of energy you'd need, as far as we know, see, that's the other thing, but the amount of energy you'd need you'd have to, under our current theories, you would have to warp space to go faster than the speed of light. You can only go the speed of light. So, you know, to get anywhere in any reasonable amount of time where you don't have to put generation ships out there with generations of people, one after the other, making sure the ship gets there, you're going to have to warp space and bend space. And to do that, the amount of energy you need is, like, phenomenal.
Yeah. And two, why would you do all of that just to come here and not do anything? Just to come here and fly around in the sky for a little bit and then leave. Now, if you sent, like you said, like generation ships, or if that was how far you had the technology and you had to send multiple generations in
that's
a pod,
colonization.
Yeah, you know, they got here and your plan is
Stay
we're
there.
here, we're gonna do something.
Yeah.
Now. We're not gonna warp time and use all that energy just to fly around in circles and make you go ooh, and then leave.
Bugger up your cows and butt diddle some guy in the woods. You know,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Why would you do that? It's true. Why would you go into someone's
objectivity.
bedroom and go, oh, there was an alien standing at the end of my bed and it talked to me in ways I couldn't understand. Yeah, it just came all the way here because you're special.
And once again, pissing in the research pool.
Yeah.
You know, that to me, that's what that is. Now it may be true. I can't say they're all delusional. They're all liars.
It's the same thing with ghosts. It's the same things with
it's hearsay
demons and it's hearsay, placebo effect. It's attention grabbing,
or not. So, and I've listened to a few the interviews and podcasts and stuff with people that have had an experience, and some of them are kind of believable, and some of them are so out there. I'm like, oh my word, are you kidding me? The details are so. I mean, I just can't buy it. I'm sorry.
Well, and something's different too when it's coming from someone that you know. If you hear a story from someone you don't know, you never met, you're way less likely to believe it than as if it came from someone you do know, you have met.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like, well, maybe this is real. And you're less likely to look them in the face and go, I think you're full of crap.
I'm not. But
then they're not your friend anymore.
Well, I don't need crazy friends. They're lying at me like that.
You wear a tinfoil hat with.
No, not somewhat. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? I guess a good question about that is, what do you think people who do claim to have experiences? You can't just shoot them all down. There's something wrong there.
I don't. I just paint it with a broad brush. There's some people on the extreme that I'm just like, no. There's no way. You got something wrong with you, and that's fine, and I wish you'd get help. But, there's other people that I'm more inclined to believe. I mean, if they do come here, yes, I can see them maybe doing experiments. But I have an idea that the people they do experiment on don't come back. Why would they bring them back? Why would you just take one and fuck off with them? No, you would though. I mean, we don't put lab rats back into the wild when we're finished with them.
Well, what I don't get is, some of the first UFO sightings even go back to the 1700s.
Well, before that.
I mean, even before all of this other stuff, drones and microtechnology and so why would you need to study that long? I don't, you pick up a couple, figure them out inside and out. What would be the point of it? Why would you keep doing that? Unless you were using them. Maybe they are the fuel.
Or they're different aliens. we just keep getting waves of tourists.
I don't know. To me, that's pretty far out.
If they don't share information, See, and that's the trouble is, like I always say, is the narrative takes off on its own and then just becomes its own living thing. And then people try and fit everything into the narrative. I am inclined to believe that UFOs are possible. In fact, some of the ancient alien stuff I find extremely credible. But some of it I find totally where they're just trying to fit something into their theory. So they kind of, people shoot themselves in their own foot because they don't have they have a couple of things that they're like, look, this is. And I'm like, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
That could be. You're quite correct. But then they've got to have more. Yeah. And more and more. Going. And keep finding things and drilling them into that round pegs into square holes. Just to keep trying to. And you're like, no, wait a minute. You're doing yourself a disservice now because you're going too far with this.
Now stop.
Yeah. It's yes, we should look at that. And take each case on merit instead of, look, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. So. For example, the one that got me is like the bird brooches, and all the historians saying, "Oh yeah, these are birds," and it's like, no, they're not. They got a tail fin going straight up and down. I don't know the bird that has a tail fin, and then when they recreated it, and it flew, it was aerodynamically, it flew. It was a glider, So I was like, well, there's a coincidence.
Yeah,
it's got an up-down dorsal fin, which birds don't have. And yeah, they put, if you look at it, it looks like a fucking plane. Yeah. It doesn't look like a bird. Yeah. So.
Yes, and you're completely correct. I mean, it looks like a really early version of a plane.
Yeah. So, you sold me on that, but then when they start like really pushing stupid stuff at me, like. Well, okay, the other one that got me was like the Nazca lines. It's like, what in the hell? Why would you draw mile-wide pictures that you can only see from the... You can't even see them from the ground. There's not even a mountain near there where you can look down and go, oh, yeah, that looks like a phoenix.
What would be the point?
Yeah. So things like that will sell me on, okay, someone's either had an encounter, but then... And also we always think, well, not always, but a lot of times it's always someone coming down and telling someone something, and gods live up in the sky.
Take my word for it.
Yeah, but it's always up and not down.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some that say, the Greeks used to believe that caves were the entry to the underworld, but they believed the gods lived up on a mountain. It's always up. Yeah. So that's kind of, to me, that's a point. So yeah, I guess, there are, and it's the same with ghosts. I mean, there are certain things where I get sold on it. I'm like, yes, I'm willing to believe that that's possible. But then someone grabs a narrative and then just runs fucking 500 miles in that direction with it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Where the hell are you going with this?
And that happens with scientists, like you're saying right now. I mean, they can get out there a little bit too in their own views and theories and try to push them. But, so...
Yeah, but the shit thing about them is they have the means, the tools, and the funding to follow up on it.
That's true.
And they're grounded more... Well, it's less of a... At least I think it's less of a narrative. I might be wrong there, actually, though. But they get... I guess if you're a scientist and you get an idea in your head of how the universe works and then run off with it...
Well, some of the things that we talked about in the interview with the physicist, too, he said that there are people, who build their whole careers around certain ideas like that. Not just ghosts or not believe in ghosts. Yep. But I could see where you could build your career around a theory that you ran with, and you get to a point where... You don't really want to admit that you were wrong, just like everything else,
Like what we talked about last time with the real-life stories being real.
Yeah.
And then they weren't, and people get upset.
Yeah. Especially if you've, like I said, you've built a whole career around it, and then you find out something comes along and science proves you completely wrong for the whole thing, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, like in the interview he said, people were doing string theory. I mean, the final word's not out yet, but it's looking less and less likely that's how it works. And there's people who have spent their whole careers working on string theory.
That's a part of anything. You go off what you have, and then you find something that not necessarily proving it wrong, because at the time you were going off what you had, and you were doing the best of what you had, and then a new discovery was made. So, you want that.
Do you know what I find... There are so many parallels between UFO and paranormal ghosts, because UFO is still a paranormal. When I talk about the narrative, so for example, in like the ghost field, you get shadows, and now they've started classifying shadow people. There's ones with red eyes, there's ones with hats, there's, Yeah. And like I say, there's the greys, there's the reptiles, there's, there is such a parallel, and as soon as any field starts hitting that kind of thing, that's when, for me, the walls start to go up, because I'm like, wait a minute, you've got no pictures of anything, you've just got hearsay from people that then study this and then agree with it. And then add a little twist, make yours a little different, and then off we go. Oh. And that always puts my walls up when I'm looking objectively at something. I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds more like folklore now than it does anything else. Yeah. So, stop pissing in the research pool, people.
It's horrible. It sounds so ranty, but it's true.
No, it's an objective view of. And please use comments. I mean, you can disagree with us all you like,
Yeah, let us know what you think.
I'm open to discussion.
Yeah. Let us know your theories.
So, I guess the other thing about UFOs in the same vein is their shapes have changed over time. So, in the 1700s... The one in Italy, I think you referred to it earlier. Okay. There was that big one where everybody saw cylinders, and then these orbs all flying around. Some of them crashing to the ground, like there was a big battle going on.
Some of them crashed into the water. Yeah, came back up.
Yep. So And then all of a sudden they became flying, in the 50s now they're flying saucers. They're all discs. We know the iconic I Want to Believe shape on the poster.
Yeah, I mean,
moldy.
It started with, movies like Mars Attacks and what was that? Oh, man, I can't remember the
Way
name.
before then.
Yeah, I can't remember. I have one in my head. I can't remember what it was called.
There's tons of Day of the Earth Stood Still.
That was it. Yeah, Day of the Earth Stood Still. It starts fitting into, what the movies were portraying as aliens.
Yeah, because that's what people were drawing. If you go back, like Project Blue Book kind of deal, their descriptions were always... Then, there were cylinders, and there were flying saucers. Then there were globes. Then there were the triangles.
Yeah.
And then they turned into these. It's like, what are they doing? Is this a Mark 7 UFO where they keep changing the design, or how does this work?
Evolving, or what?
Or are they different aliens? Like I said before,
Yeah.
they just don't talk to each other. Sometimes they beat each other up. I mean, there's enough. You watch Ancient Aliens. They say pretty much every historical book, mentions fire and brimstone, and it's a big battle. And there's a couple of points that they have where I say that could be true. I mean, there are places, bugger if I can remember where it is, but there's a ruin where, the stone is pretty much turned to glass, and you can only do that under massive extreme temperatures. Oh, wow. So I know they didn't burn down the fortress just, using wood, oil, and pitch and get to those temperatures. So, okay, how did that happen? So there's no volcanoes nearby. And if there was, that still wouldn't be standing if it was a volcanic eruption.
Yeah, totally. And,
so
that leaves, room for it is a possibility.
Yeah, and you have evidence to say that's what I think it is. Prove me wrong, and good luck with that, because I was watching one today where they found ingots in the Mediterranean from 600 BC, and they were 70% copper, 30% zinc. The only problem is we haven't had the technology to actually refine zinc until pretty recently. Well, at least relatively recently.
Yeah, what was it, like the last 50 years or something like that?
I can't remember.
No, something like
but
that.
it definitely
was
wasn't
recently.
It wasn't 600 BC,
Yeah,
I know that.
No.
And then why would you mix copper with zinc?
Yeah.
Why? What properties does that have?
What would be the point?
It's much easier to mix copper and tin to get bronze.
Yeah. It does leave questions, doesn't it?
So what property were they looking for with that?
Yeah.
Or
is it just failed?
Or the Iraqi battery. It's definitely a battery. There's nothing else it could be. It's a freaking pot with two probes, and one goes in one chamber, one goes in... it's a battery. There's nothing else it could be, really. Although I'm sure someone's figured something out. But what I'm saying is that kind of evidence is there for ufologists. Us hunting ghosts don't really get to have that kind of evidence. We can't. I haven't seen anything that's solid where people say, "Look, this is," even the ectoplasm back in the day when they tried to produce something that was evidence was crap. It was like Hessian with egg white on it. Yeah. So.
So like you were just saying, at least they have something to go off of, whereas ghosts, you really don't. Not yet, anyway.
No, it's all interpretation of data and narrative, and kick the narrative to the curb and just study more on the data, and maybe we might end up with something, but, I wish we could catch one.
One day.
I have so many questions. You will be interrogated. There are your papers.
Ridiculous.
Are you an illegal ghost? Do you have papers?
Oh my God.
We will have to build the ectoplasm wall. You are coming in and taking our jobs. You are probably all rapists and murderers.
This is what you do on a Friday night.
Oh,
what a sad life we lead.
Sorry. It's called parody, satire, all those kind of things. But then, that leads to what you were saying before about, the government's probably controlling the information. And what I just did, that satire I just did, is actually true because people will think that way. You know, saying, well, we haven't got room for aliens. What are they going to do here? They're not like us. God didn't create them.
Yeah, that's true.
All kinds of kinds of questions keep coming.
All kinds of problems, yeah.
Oh, what do you mean they've got their own religion? No, they're not allowed to have that. You know,
too, I mean, people would start to believe that maybe was a truer religion even, and start to abandon what they believed in.
I will bet you, people, if aliens showed up with a religion, you would have a lot of people going, that must be true because they're building spaceships.
Yep, it's true.
They must know more than us.
They must, yeah.
You know,
they would follow probably. Which
leads to another point that people have brought up that, you know, if aliens may be interdimensional, not interstellar, which means they've figured out how to do dimensional travel. So that would explain a lot, like just disappearing instead of them. Because imagine the acceleration trauma if you go from 0 to I'm already gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd just be soup inside that thing.
How'd that work out? I don't know. I only got to try it once.
Man, he came out of the rivet holes.
And if you think about it, I mean, that could be one of the only ways that it would even be possible, don't you think?
Well, imagine, and this is going to be, if you can get your head around it, let's say, instead of curving space, you can pop through to a dimension at this point. If the other dimension, let's say, is smaller, you only move a small amount of space and then pop through again. And in this dimension, you've traveled billions of light years, for example. Yeah. You know, like so a wormhole.
Then it would make sense to just pop here, fly around a bit, pick up something, and leave.
Yep.
Like if they were just popping here and
drive
taking
through
our cows.
Taking our cows.
Yeah, whatever they're doing.
I
want that one.
They're not even taking the cows.
I'm hungry.
All they're taking is their eyeballs and arseholes. I mean, what the hell kind of cuisine?
Like a brothel. Pick him up, probe him, and then get him out.
What kind of cuisine they got where they only want the eyeballs and arseholes? I mean, come on. They must be making hot dogs.
That's horrible.
It's all just lips and arseholes.
So bad. Oh, man. Well, I think we just formed a very, very interesting theory.
Well, you gotta. I mean, come on. Has nobody ever wondered? Let's say I believed it's all true. Let's say I'm one of these believers that believe in, you know, yes, they do come down and do cattle mutilations where they shave off the lips, the arseholes, the genitals, and the eyeballs. Now, doesn't the question why ever fucking pop into your head and go, what's wrong with it? What about a liver? Liver's pretty, you know, or a heart, or there's lots of really complex organs inside of a cow that you'd want to study.
At least to us, and who says that they're doing it for study? I mean, what if that's something like? Have you ever played a video game where you know you have certain planets for some things, and you go somewhere for a rare, a rare element, maybe popping into existence, killing it, taking it. It's something they don't have.
Here's the problem with your theory.
Come on,
is that we are one of those very rare planets where creatures have evolved eyeballs, lips, and assholes. Really? You think they are that rare?
We need eyeballs for our fuel. Go get us eyeballs.
We need assholes, or we have to stop eating. You know,
we use up all our eyeballs. No, I was just throwing it out there. I don't believe in that.
But
you know, what my point was with that is you can start taking it off so easily. You can start saying, well, what if? Well, what if? Well, what if? And before you know it, you've come up with something completely crazy. That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, and I guess what intrigues me always is I always try and look at the thought process of you know, once someone gets a belief, you know, do they continue that belief logically and say, well, if that's true, this must be true. Why is this? You know, and things like stealing lips and arseholes and eyeballs from cows.
Makes no sense.
No, I was like, what? Whoa.
Where
do you go with that?
You were looking at me like, what? Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my point, though, is that does go off to nowhere. And that's what those kinds of people do. That's where these kind of theories start. Well, what if this? What if it's something we don't know? Before you know it, it gets so far out there.
Plus, you could also throw in the theory that soft tissues like eyeballs, lips, and arseholes get eaten by very small predators that get there first or something. Or, they used to think that fingernails grow after death, and they don't. It's just your fingers shrink. The fluid in your fingers gets drained out. Your fingers shrink. The tips of your fingers shrink. It makes your fingernails look longer.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, I don't think someone just figured it out. I think someone actually sat down and thought about it and said, well, they probably don't grow after you're dead, so what else could be happening?
Let's do a test.
Yeah, I mean, So,
I'm gonna watch you.
Cows are dropping dead with their lips, eyeballs, and arseholes missing. It's either aliens or something else could be happening. I wonder what it could be.
Yeah. Very true.
Attack of the fire ants. Fire ants are in there making hot dogs.
Into all of them.
So, let's see, UFOs. What haven't we covered? Here's a conundrum. So, and people will believe that if it's not possible, it may be possible at some point, is in the Star Trek, the beaming up of things.
Oh, yeah.
Because that enters in some of the UFO lore in that they got taken up into the ship and beamed up. Here's a question for you. Now, the way that works is they take so they make a copy of every particle in your body, and then it gets transmitted, and then they make another copy of you at the other end exactly the same. The trouble is the first one got destroyed. Is that still you at the other end?
I remember the first time I got asked a question like that, and it blew my mind. I was younger. I started going off into, well, yeah, and then, well, no,
And there is a philosophical question. I can't remember who did it, but he said if it were true and we did that, so you walk through, like the things at an airport that scan you, see if you got guns.
Yep.
So you walk through one of those, it copies you, destroys all your atoms, and then the one at the other end reproduces you at the other end. Now, as you step out the other side, you're you.
Yeah.
You don't know any different. You're you.
You don't know that
everything.
you were destroyed. Or
Yeah, you're you. You don't know it's... Now, he said, what would happen if the original one, but some quirk, didn't get destroyed? Walked through and went, oh, it must have gone wrong. I didn't come out the other side.
Yeah, you do.
There's a guy on the other side thinking it worked.
He's you too. Yeah.
Now, the law would be you have to kill the original. Is that ethical?
I mean...
So you walk through, it doesn't work, and then they shoot you.
Don't you have to? I mean...
Well, you don't have to.
I don't know. What would you do?
But...
What would you do with it?
Because he should have been destroyed anyway. But are you killing the real person?
Yeah.
It's not his fault it didn't bloody work. Poor bugger gets a bullet in the head.
What do you do with him?
But he would have died anyway.
That's true, but...
In theory, at least that physical form of him would have died.
But think about it, though. The other you that went through and is fine...
Yeah.
You're going to come back. You're going to want to come back however long you're gone, a day, 2 weeks.
Yeah, you come back and you see yourself in bed with your own wife.
Exactly. You're going to want to come back. Are you okay with that?
No.
Like, that would be a thing where...
People go, oh, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, right. that would be a thing where I bet you, that'd be like a cover-up thing. They probably would kill the other thing and then be like,
of course they would.
We tell nobody about this.
They'd have to.
Don't let anyone else go through.
Because they'd have to go to court. And then the best defense is he should be dead. He should have been vaporized.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
My old body should have been vaporized when I went through.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then the old body's like, no, wait a minute, this is all bullshit. Nobody ever travels anywhere. We just die.
Think about having a copy of you. That one of you goes off to work and the other one just to live free.
Yeah, I'd probably be the poor bastard that had to go to work. I'm not enjoying that scenario.
There was a copy of me, I'd be like, all right, you stay home, you clean.
He'd be like, oh, hell no. I know all your secrets.
Yeah. I ain't doing nothing.
So, that always, sometimes things like that where, I got beamed aboard the ship. I'd be like, well, you're not you anymore.
Yeah.
You died in the bedroom. There was a copy of you on the ship.
Yeah. And
then you died on the ship, and there's a copy of you back in your bedroom again. So you're version 3.
You're version 3, yeah. And if you keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that comes back to, too, is, do you still have your memories? Are you still the same? Mm-hmm. So, you, in a way, you are still you.
Yeah. But are you, though?
But technically...
I mean, is it really you?
It's not the original you,
and it's not,
still you.
for a lot of people, it wouldn't be a big deal if you did walk through that portal, step out the other side, thinking you were you, not knowing what happened to the original. Yeah. Of course, I'm still me.
As long as they don't bring it up, that's in the terms and conditions. Original you does die.
Yeah, like they're not going to tell you that. Yeah, no. Probably.
No. They'll say it in some fancy way, Okay, well, your atoms,
Well, practically, it will be you coming out the other end.
Yeah. And in a way, it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it ain't.
It's still you.
I don't think it is.
Well, what makes you is you, right?
But everything that makes you gets exactly copied.
Yeah. So, but it's still you. It's a copy of
you. No, it's not. It's a copy. Either way you do it.
It's still you.
No.
It's a copy of.
Yeah, but it's not me.
But it's a copy of you.
Yeah. So it's not me.
But if you die, then now it is you.
It's an exact copy of me, but it's not me. Is the point, I guess.
Yeah. But you died.
Man, we've delved into philosophy.
Oh man, it's creepy.
And ethics.
It's creepy.
We started with UFOs. How the fuck did we end up here?
Plus, too, what if something doesn't go back together right? You know what I mean? What if the copy of you a year later develops cancer or something creepy?
Or you come out like Chunk.
Yeah. Yeah. My nose wasn't that big.
What was his name in Goonies? The other guy.
Hey, you guys.
Sloth.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chunk was the fat kid.
Yeah, that was it. You come out like Sloth.
Put me back. Sorry, the other you's dead. Put me back.
Well, they did it in Star Trek. Remember, there was a couple of times where there was a transport accident. It was just like this horrible lump of flesh ends up like they're inside out. Yeah. Oh, he drank too much. Look at his liver. Oh, he was a smoker.
Back to the drawing board.
So, yeah. So, UFOs. I think we've covered most of it. Anything else you can think of to discuss UFOs to our poor, unsuspecting whoever's left listening?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of it so far.
No, no. I mean, we could go on forever. Yeah. I mean, let's see. What else about you? Why don't they land? That's a good question. Why don't they land? Just go, yep, you caught us. We're here. Hi, what can we help you with?
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't one ever have, And why is it always crash landings, too? The only thing you ever hear about is how they crashed or gone into the water and disappeared and never came back. Or you never hear
Well, there's a theory that that's an extra branch of UFOlogy, which is those submerged UFOs that live under the water. Yeah.
The parts of the sea that we haven't discovered yet.
Yep.
But you know what? There's something to be said about that, too. I mean, the deeper, the more technology that, we advance in technology, the deeper we go, the more strange stuff we do find.
Yeah, but the problem with that being is it explodes when you bring it to the surface because it has to have so much internal pressure to fight the pressure of the sea. It can't leave the depths that it's in.
It dies.
So my question would be, okay, you want to live under the water at those great big depths. That's a lot of effort. It's a lot less effort to live on the surface. Yeah. Yeah. So why not just pop up and say hi?
They're all just shy.
And not only that, they got the technology to say, by the way, we own Australia now. We'd like to live there.
Right.
So you need to evacuate. We give you 24 hours. We'll help you. Anyway, we'll beam them copies of them across. Yeah. So no one need know.
That's a great point. Is if they were out there, why wouldn't it be more known?
I'm just playing devil's advocate like I do most.
You made
most
a good
series.
point. I mean, why would they just fly around and fly off and never land, never make contact that we know of anyway?
Well, they do, but never in a nice way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Standing room owner.
Maybe that's their way of saying hi. Come with me, I probe you. Hi. Oh, you don't like us? Sorry.
Can't we just shake hands?
No. This is how we.
Oh, by the way, no, actually, I don't want to touch your hand now. I know where it's been.
No, that's an excellent point. Especially over all the years of sightings and.
Well, I mean, there's reports that they've come down and, dictated things to us and shown us things. Like I say, there's stuff where like I say, things like that alloy, which is weird, and there's lots of weird stuff where I could say, that explains it, and I can't think of anything else that does, which doesn't make it true, but it grabs my attention to the possibility.
You ever wondered too if maybe something happened. I mean, we are human, so maybe this is going out there, but maybe something happened where we pissed them off. I don't know. They don't want anything to do with us anymore. Maybe they did make contact with us. They showed us some things, some advancements, and then they saw...
we beat them over the head with a club.
Yeah. And then they saw our human nature, which is greed.
Our
human nature is greed.
I can buy
money, power, death.
Sleuths.
It's true. I mean, almost everything that we...
They've given us this wonderful technology. We shall use it to kill our neighbours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can buy it.
What'd you do with it, you know? And then...
You did what? Oh, my God.
And then not only did we do something like that, when we got questioned, we pointed it at them. Because we're kind of stupid sometimes.
Yeah. So, I can buy into that. I have another kind of theory when I watch the Ancient Aliens, though, is that maybe we are a... we're
a civilization with amnesia.
Yeah,
I love that theory.
I think that we were a lot bloody clever at some point, and and then something happened, and the knowledge just went away, and that does happen. For example, after the Romans you kind of went down like a wet flan, we lost the ability to make concrete, for example. I mean, there's lots of things that we didn't rediscover until a lot later. So maybe our history goes... And they've found ruins and buildings that are way older than they should be, have any right to be. We thought they were just still hunter-gatherers back then. Look, there's a building, though. Yeah, look at that. So, I think maybe, not the whole planet maybe, but I think... All right, we can put it this way. What are the chances of us being a race that have amnesia or had greater technology than historians believe? For example, if there was transatlantic trade, that would explain a lot. Pyramids in Egypt, pyramids in, and it doesn't have to be direct straight from Egypt. I mean, it could have gone the other way around. I mean, the Chinese are supposed to have hit America, if you believe that. So maybe it came down the Silk Road from America, or whatever. Yeah. I mean... So, or Atlantis is, past the Pillars of Hercules, which is Gibraltar. I mean, if you think about it, you can go from the Mediterranean up the coast. You can hit England. From England, you can hit Iceland. From Iceland, you can hit Greenland. So you don't have to go thousands and thousands of miles in one jump all the time. So, and then there's that one guy, he actually sailed the Atlantic in a reed boat, in an Egyptian reed boat. So... I think the losses would be kind of high if they did that on a regular basis.
That's true.
I mean, he didn't trust it enough that he didn't have a fucking another boat following him behind. I believe they could do it, but I don't believe that much.
That's a great point.
I mean, I think that's now the if you think of probabilities, was it aliens or did our history just get fucked up along the way somewhere and we forgot everything or a big chunk of things? Yeah, it's very, it took them how long? I mean, they didn't understand Egyptian hieroglyphics till they found the Rosetta Stone. They've been looking at them for hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And I wonder what these squiggles mean. So
I think that's way more believable than
aliens. And that's the trouble. Yeah. That's why, when. At times, I always sound like a total skeptic. I'm not. I believe in the possibilities, but I'm not ready to wipe away other possibilities that seem higher than the one that fits the narrative of the paranormal. Now, to me, that doesn't mean the paranormal doesn't exist, be it UFOs or ghosts, but I don't believe hardly any of the narratives.
Which is important to me. I mean, I think that's a good quality.
Yeah, I mean, you can have your interpretation, but it stands or falls on whatever you can put forward to back it up, and the reason it's paranormal is because we got nothing to back it up.
It's true. Same thing with UFOs.
Yeah, you can put something up without evidence. It gets knocked down without evidence just as easily. So,
Well, is there anything else we should cover?
I think we're done.
Think we're good?
So, put comments in the comment thing if you want us to revisit UFOs in our own amicable way. Let us know. It's not our normal field, but there's enough out there we can do it. So, go away now, find me some UFOs, and bring me back some evidence.